You're listening to The American Dream with Jay McNally on Wham Talk 1600.
Welcome back. We've been talking about what we're calling the license to steal. Our next guest is a familiar face to all of us, Darren Moore. Darren is Executive Director of the New Centurion Leadership Program, and he is giving us the benefit of his vast wisdom in keeping us grounded on what conservatives generally really think. He's pretty well steeped in the long and rich tradition of conservative thought, and I like having a thoughtful reflection on where we are and so on and so forth. So Darren, at CPAC last week, you made a fascinating point. You said that the original intent of labor unions is actually quite conservative, and that the recent developments where we have conservatives fighting unions is really out of character for the history of those kinds of organizations. So tell us about that.
Well, the unions initially were, in many regards, what Robert Nisbet would have said are the Burkean little platoons of life, the free associations, those intermediate authorities that protect the individual from the atomization of the Industrial Revolution. I mean, you think about when the Industrial Revolution hit, these big businesses, these big manufacturers, mass production, were atomizing man, and they were making them, they were really tearing the soul out of man and making them really nothing more than a cog in the machine. So when
it was awful. People were coming in off the farms, in America especially, and their children had these awful 14-hour day jobs, especially in the garment area in New York. I remember reading about all of that vividly.
Absolutely, and that's the thing that's so very critical for the conservative to understand, is that when you eliminate these free institutions, these free associations, these intermediate authorities, then there's really no bulwark left. There's no defense left to the centralization of the state.
What should we be reading to brush up on this?
Well, I really think everybody ought to read, every conservative really ought to read The Quest for Community. And I hear the music roll. I just want to make the point that our founders would have never wanted our civil servants to become our masters. That the public employee unions are essentially, they have a huge advantage in that they don't have to deal directly with the taxpayer. They can deal with their cronies, the elected officials, and that really puts the taxpayer at a disadvantage.
Thanks for calling in, Darren. We're going to have to do a whole segment with you on all this stuff.